I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please remain standing for just a second. We'd like to take a moment of silence to commemorate police officer Julian Casino. Thank you. You may be seated. We're going into our public comment period, and I have one from Elizabeth Wells from Spring Hill Suites. Elizabeth, please come to the podium and state your name and address. Ms. Wells?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Wells. I'm the general manager at the Springfield Suites over at 3636 Northwest Loop 410. And what I wanted to speak to the council about this evening was to let you know how pleased my business is with C6 disposal that the city changed over waste management companies in January. So I kind of heard a little rumbling that some businesses aren't as happy, but I just want to let you know that they're saving me $4,700 over a 12-month period that I can spend on other things in my hotel, like curb appeal and doing some things to make improvements in the hotel. So I just wanted to let you all know that, I don't know, haven't talked to a lot of other businesses, but we're very happy, and I just wanted to come speak on behalf of, well, for C6 Disposal tonight, let you know that we support them. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going into our presentations and reports now. Our first one is Community Initiatives Department report with Mr. Masasa.
Each of you should have had a copy of the Community Initiatives Report in your packets. I'll just hit some of the highlights. 390% increase versus 2013 on the views to the Balcones Heights Facebook page. A 54% increase in posts to the city's Facebook page, and a 10% increase in likes. And a 14% increase in visits to the San Antonio Central website. Advertising leads generated are up 46% from April a year ago, from the Texas Day Travel Guide, 16% from Tour Texas, total 31% increase in leads generated. Balcones Heights Jazz Festival, we're very close to finalizing the contracts and the contract riders. I expect they will be signed by the end of the week, and we'll be able to officially announce this year's lineup, the 21st annual Balcones Heights Jazz Festival.
Will we have t-shirts this year?
No, ma'am.
The number of Facebook likes really increased. What do you think that's
Well, I think one of the main reasons for that is Chrissy is very diligent about posting to the Facebook page, and is getting more and more creative in doing so.
Thank you, Chris. Councilor, do you have any questions for Mr. Masasa? Thank you. Good report. Thank you. We do not have a police department report this evening. Our chief is not here. So we'll move on to our fire department report, April 2014. Welcome. You're not Chief Prince, but we're glad you're here.
Chief's out of town. Mike Brown, captain on issue. This is our April 2014 report. We had a total of 90 fire-related responses, EMS responses. Fire calls 3, EMS 74, hazardous type conditions 3, public service calls 5, good intent calls 2, false alarms 3, and no weather-related cases, HLA calls 2, that's a total of 90. Business inspections 20, plan reviews 5, public education activities 4. We had a total of 69 transports by Acadian, Actually, we had 51 patient transport. We had 69 Acadian responses into Balcones Heights. Their average response time was 8 minutes and 17 seconds. So that's under what we call compliant. 12 minutes is kind of what, or less is what we expected them. So that's the report.
Council, do we have any questions? Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Appreciate being here tonight. Next, we have EMS Week proclamation. And if you would just bear with me, I think it's important that I read this out loud to you, and it's really not that long. To designate the week of May 18th to the 24th, 2014 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the emergency medical services system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now therefore, I, Mayor Suzanne De Leon, of the city of Balcones Heights, Texas, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to the 24th, 2014 as Emergency Medical Services Week. With theme EMS Dedicated for Life, I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thank you to all of the people that we just commented on, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, all the physicians, everything. Thank you for everything. Next, we have our Development Services Coordinator report, Ms. Boyd.
Evening, Mayor, Council. In your packets, for the month of April, we had 24 permits issued. We had 23 code compliance issues. We received $5,028.41 in permit fees. And you have your inspections and the individual permits that were issued. And also, as a side note, we, of course, working with our stormwater company, it's Gibler Engineer. They cover other communities as well, one being the city of Castle Hills. We were expected to get an audit of our services that they give to us. And after they went through the city of Castle Hills, they didn't feel that it was necessary to come to us because of the quality of work that Gibler is providing them, and they felt assured that the city of Balcones Heights was receiving good enough services. And so he'll put it on standby, and that person being David Johnson with Gibler. He does have all the work prepared, and so if there is any inspection, we'll be ready to go. But I was expecting to do that last week, and luckily didn't have to do that. So there's one thing. So, yes.
Council, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, you through?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions for? Next is our update on the Infrastructure and Budget Committee.
Infrastructure Committee, I will no longer be serving. I'm turning my resignation to the mayor. I feel like I need to devote my time to the Budget Committee, and it's taking more of my time, and I have to give all my efforts in that. I've asked a member of council, I haven't heard back from him yet, to take the place of Councilman Valverde on the Budget Committee. If anybody else on council would like to be considered for that, please let me know or let the mayor know, and we'll probably have a new committee members to take a look at that slide. Thank you.
So we need to find another chair. We go into our consent agenda items. You have the minutes for the regular meeting of April 28, 2014, April 2014 check registered, and the financial report for the month of April 2014. Council, you may go through these. Take these all at once if you would like. Do I have any action on this? We'll open up discussion, so we'll do a motion, and then we have discussion. Do we have a motion to approve? Do we have a second? I'll second. Thank you. Now open to discussion.
Under the minutes of last month, stated meeting, item 12, it was incorrectly posted 5-0 cast, it should be 4-1.
Ms. Wright, who's the mistake? Okay. Thank you for that correction. Any other questions, any other comments? We have a motion and a second, all in favor to approve, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Number 3, board applications will be given to city council to be filled out by their recommendations for appointment to the planning and zoning commission or to the board of adjustments and appeals. Ms. Weiss?
Yes, I put board applications in your packet so that next month, we're gonna be appointing and reappointing members to the Planning and Zoning Commission and alternates to the Board of Adjustments. So I gave y'all a blank application. If y'all want one or need more, I have some. I gave y'all a list of the appointments. Hilda Herrera is not interested in being reappointed. And David Sellers, who is an alternate, wants to be considered for Board of Adjustments, for an alternate in the Board of Adjustments. And
Has he filled out the application? I'm sorry, has he filled out the
No,
application?
he hasn't.
Okay.
and I'm going to be submitting a spreadsheet on attendance of the ones that are on the board right now.
That'd be helpful.
No actions, just letting you know.
Do you mind emailing that application to us? Okay, thank you. Number 4, possible reappointment of Henry Honish Jr. as alternate to Board of Adjustments. You do have an already application that Mr. Honish has filled out. Is Mr. Honish here? Yeah.
Yes, it is here.
Oh, there you are. You were too quiet. Couldn't see you. Thank you for applying again. You've been a faithful servant of Balcones Heights for many, many years, and I appreciate that. So, council, what we're going to be doing, as you know, that the Board of Adjustments needs to be filled again with citizens in the community. And once we get every position filled, then we will be able to turn this board back over to the citizens, because right now, the council is consisting of the Board of Adjustments. So these are only as an alternates, they're not taking the seat now, it's just as an alternate. Yes.
How many do we have so far? Is this the second one?
We have 2, yes,
have
but I
2.
have 2 people that are really interested, I just haven't received their application.
And we need how many?
6.
6.
So if y'all know someone, let us know. So, do we have any motion to reappoint Mr. Honish as an alternate? Thank you. Mr. White, do I have a second? Thank you. Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Granted. Thank you so much, Mr. Honish. Appreciate you. Number 5, business item, consideration and possible action to approve a ground lease agreement between the City of Balcones Heights and Balcones Lots Limited for a 2.79 acre tract of land located at Gentleman Road and Hillcrest Drive in Balcones Heights for the purpose of constructing an 84-unit residential apartment complex, parking facilities, and amenities. Ms. Becker, do you want to take the lead on this, or should we have Mr. Marcy? Mr. Marcy, would you like to come up to the podium? Thank you for coming back again this evening.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
So you want to just give us a brief overview and for the people that are here with us tonight, what this is about?
Sure. A few months ago, we entered, actually a year or more than a year ago, we entered into an agreement to enter into a ground lease. We've gone through a significant planning and hearing process with y'all about the development. I don't have the, Jason, do you have the list of the specs? Would you like me to review that all now, or is that necessary?
Is that necessary, counsel, if you want to have a review? Doesn't.
I'm glad I answered.
Maybe the
I
citizen.
stick to the lease.
Okay,
That's the
okay,
agenda.
to the lease. And the lease is a, I believe, a 65-year lease currently that's being proposed. We had I know there was some question as to the terms on it. It was a 50 with a 50-year option. There was some, you may want to, I don't know if y'all want to answer anything about that, but I think we agreed upon that a 65-year lease would be suitable. We spoke to the investors about that. And I'm here to answer any other questions you have.
Well, what I would like to do is just be consistent, counsel, this, we can take a motion on this, and then we'll open up for discussion with everyone.
I'll make a motion to approve the lease.
Say it in a second.
Second.
Thank you, motion is second. Now, open up the discussion, and I'll start with, Mr. Strawberry, do you have any comments? Under the new rule, you have one opportunity, and then one other to rebut. So if you have any questions, you have one opportunity, and then one follow-up.
Okay.
Ms. Slade?
Okay, I have a couple, and I went through it, but that doesn't mean that, I understand all.
Please.
Some of the cross-checking. Item 3.3.1C. I'm sorry. Well, page number 8 on the final lease. And item C at the top, it discusses, I'm sorry, it's 3.3. And it discusses holding over. And it talks about that month to month after the expiration of the lease, that it will be in the same conditions as set forth in this lease. And they talk about payment of rent, except that that's not really clarified because the rent is kind of a one-time deal. So my question is, if there's going to be a month-to-month rent charged after the expiration of the lease, that seems to me to be clarified unless it's clarified somewhere that I missed. Unless you're going to divide 1,000 over 75.
From a business perspective, yes, the lease is paid up front.
Right.
So there isn't an ongoing payment, so it's a really legal question as to drafting.
The holdover provision is always written as a month-to-month holdover, and it's only, a holdover is only authorized if the landlord agrees to the holdover. But sometimes tenants don't. This is a standard commercial clause.
Well, I understand, but
So
this is not a
sometimes-
standard commercial lease.
So sometimes when the tenant has not left at the exact date of the termination of the lease, then you put them into holdover, and then that's a month-to-month payment.
Well, I understand that, but it says in the same conditions as those set forth in this lease, and there
Right.
are no conditions except the 1,000 divided by 75 times 12.
Right. So it would be 1/12 of $1,000 would be the monthly holdover rent.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I have a few more, let me. Yeah. Sorry, it's a big document. It's important. Don't have a note. But, okay. Section 8. page 17, I know this is a minor thing, but in one of the drafts, it discusses the LURA, which is a land use restriction agreement. In the
Yes.
final lease, it just says LURA. In one of the drafts, it says land use restriction agreement with LURA in parentheses. I know this is minor, but to a lot of us that aren't in the industry, well, I am, but to a lot of people who aren't in the industry, I don't know what that is, I'll just let that be back in. I know that sounds silly, but
It
I
was
think it's
moved, the definition was moved to the
It was
very
moved
front.
to the front?
Right.
Awesome,
And
thank
so
you.
it says, given in section, the
Okay.
land use restriction
Thank
agreement.
you. I apologize, I did not see that. Okay. Then, on page 18 of the final lease, 17, pardon me, 17 of the final lease. On the marked up copy, on 8.1 future fee estate mortgages, there's a note, I'm assuming it's from our attorney, that says landlord may need to retain the right to process property utility easements. I'm assuming utility corridor will be built into the plat. I don't see that addressed in here. Did our council decide that that wasn't necessary?
I did, yes ma'am. I decided that the plat will have the utility corridors built into it, and we need to do that up front, and then we don't have to retain any kind of
Okay,
easement.
great.
So it was just, those were just notes to me to think through this
No, I
and
know, I
discuss
just wanna
it
make
with.
sure that they're addressed
Yes,
somehow,
ma'am.
or, because we didn't, we don't have that in between.
Right, I understand.
I'm gonna keep going, sorry.
Okay.
I'm being annoying for just a little bit. And 8.3, which is on, let's see, it'll be ending on page 18. And the last comment from legal was, why is the landlord put in the position of doing this? It says, a landlord will probably enter into ground lease with a new tenant on substantially the same terms as the lease. Did you come to a
I
satisfactory?
never got an answer to, I never got an answer to how that exactly worked. I mean, the attorneys for NRP kept insisting that that's the way it had to be, but I never got a clear answer.
Basically, the
Right.
land lease carries over to any new.
Well, what it says, the part that bothered me, was it says, in addition, upon the leasehold mortgagee's notice to landlord of the commencement of foreclosure and the exercise of the power of the deed of trust, of the election of the leasehold mortgagee in his sole discretion, community housing resource, they changed the words here.
That's CHR.
Yeah, they fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah, they fixed it.
So you're satisfied
Yeah,
with
because
the
it
new
said that we
terms?
were gonna do that, and I was like, why
Okay.
would we be doing that?
Okay, great. Then, same page, page 18B. You were concerned about the statement, furthermore, following such foreclosure, the landlord will provide an automatic release of the new transferee or permitted leasehold mortgagee from obligations under the foreclosed lease. Did that get fixed to your satisfaction? It looks like they took that out.
Yes,
So
I
you're
did.
satisfied
Yes.
with that?
I don't have my marked draft to compare.
Well,
it to.
it's taken out,
Yeah,
so,
so
okay,
yes.
great. Thank you. Nope, let's just that out. One. I swear I'm almost done. Is that all good? Is that- I should have tabbed it. Okay. Page 38. Landlord cannot be put in a position to hold them back for major liability. Contamination, we must address this issue. And I see that, it looks like we fixed that to say we are released from all liability. 19.18.
Now, that's the lenders have no liability. not the city.
Well,
Okay.
there's a note on here on the draft that says landlord. It says we must address this issue. Let's see what's different.
Ms. Slay, I did address all the issues that I wrote in my comments. So if the
Okay,
Balcones
well,
list-
I'm sorry, I just
Yeah.
feel like I need to run through.
Sure.
Because I didn't see a change here, but maybe it's addressed something else. It looks like it was addressed to my satisfaction. I think that's it. Let me just, that's it, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all. I'm sorry.
On the 65 years, is that a 50-year lease with a 50-year extension, or just 65?
It's just 65 years. We understand that you wanted it as short as possible, so that's the shortest period that the investors would accept.
I have a question on page 22. It's probably a very simple answer. On 95, notwithstanding anything to the contrary herein, the landlord will have no control of the construction of the improvements. Can you just explain what improvements and,
That means that you're essentially not the general partner building a deal, I believe, development.
but all of our.
All of your covenants and everything, all the permits and all the approvals are your, but that would refer to, I believe, the actual management of the construction.
Very good. Just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
Shelley?
Yes, page 12, section 6.1, taxes and operating expenses. Can someone clarify to me what the liability of the tenant will be as far as having more tax on the property? The building?
Yes. Your, you have under the nonprofit exemption, as CHR being the owner, you have a 50% exemption from ad valorem taxes. But I don't believe that a commercial lease is exempt, but you may be exempt as the city if your nonprofit rents. I think you have to have a lawyer answer that. You are only liable for the common area maintenance charges on rent, and that also goes back to the HUD agreement of this being not having profit involved in it. I hope that answers the question. If you rent it to a commercial, if the city, my simple understanding of it is, if the city offices take the space and you choose to take them, the entity, you're a tax exempt entity. So we need to have a legal opinion as to whether or not there would be taxes charged. If a commercial tenant comes in, there would definitely have to be a tax pass-through because that's not a nonprofit entity. If a nonprofit rents space in an office building, the office building still has to pay taxes on it. So I'm pretty sure that there's a tax pass-through unless it's a sovereign government office.
I'm making this a lot harder than it needs to be. In my confusion, I'm thinking of the improvements. This is just the land we're talking about back here, right? This agreement is a lease on the land.
Yes, this is just a lease on the land.
Property tax on the improvements is not covered in this agreement at all.
No.
Okay, that clarifies.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I really.
Sorry, and I was answering the wrong
All
question.
that.
Thank you, I had to think about
Careful.
that. But it was a good thought.
Now I'll realize what we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I do believe that you covered that in there. It's the ad valorem tax. I don't remember which section it was. trying to get as much as I can for the city and the citizens. So, the permitting fees are not being charged, but you will pay for inspections, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
What is, you go ahead.
There was an exemption granted on a portion of the permitting fees, but we did receive some over, we exempted, I believe, $23,000 in the original agreement. But we did receive